So this is something I picked up recently. It was advertised locally. It is a PTO driven, it's my little international PTO driven sawbench. Don't know what height we'd call that blade. Is it about 8 inches, something like that, maybe 8-9 inches it cuts, looks like, just a guess. The top slides back and forth, and it has this bit on here so you can just put it back, put your wood here, put your wood there, press down on it, and then you can push it into the blade. It seems to be in decent condition. The belts are behind this guard, so I can't really show you them very well, but they seem to be okay. The only thing that's not on it is this weight. I don't quite know how it goes. I'm going to have to try and work it out. But the idea of this counterweight is this, you push in like this when you're sawing, and the counterweight is supposed to then make it automatically move back like this. So you push it in, and then the counterweight somehow, some sort of pendulum, makes it come back out. Although of course you can manually pull it back, but yeah. And then the other thing is this pedal at the bottom. So it's a sort of safety feature. So as it currently is, the belts are slack, and when this is pushed forward and that hooks down on it like that, then that means the belts are tight. And then while you're operating it, if for some reason you suddenly wanted to stop it, you just press this with your foot, and that releases that, and then there's no drive to the blade. I think that's yeah, I don't know what make it is. Looks like someone's painted over whatever it was. I've not seen one like this. I've seen Reeking ones, is it, and McConnell ones, but I've not seen this make. We'll start it up and try it. He did tell me he used it. He said it might want sharpening, so I'm going to take it that it probably does want sharpening, but we'll try it. We'll get it out. Hopefully the tractor will start. It hasn't been running for a bit, and it's a pretty cold morning. So anyway, if the tractor starts, we'll get it out. We'll get the tractor facing the other way outside because of the exhaust fumes, and we'll see whether we can we'll see what it cuts like. Right, see if we can give it a bit of heat, see whether that makes any difference. Stop her out a bit. There you go. Nice one. Rusted up. Right, well, you might have seen the smoke coming off it, but if you didn't, that should be enough to tell you that that needs sharpening. It was, I mean, it could be just it hasn't been used a bit and there's a bit of rust on it, but I think it's mainly because it's not sharp. I did do a bit of a Google YouTube research to see about sharpening them, but they all involve taking the blade off, and I don't want to take the blade off, so I'm going to see if I can sharpen them up a little bit. And I think they go alternate. That one's on the diagonal that way. I'll take this off a minute and you can see. So this one's on the diagonal this way, and then the tooth on that one needs to be sharpened that way. You could do them with a file. I'm going to see if I can touch them up with the angle grinder to see whether that makes any difference. So I've just put a mark on it so I'll know where I started if I can't see on the teeth, and then I'm just going to slightly toot them up and see whether that makes any difference. Not sure how easy it is to get the angle grinder on the blades, but we'll have a go. It's not going to work with a half-worn disc, so I'm going to swap the disc. So I don't know whether I've actually sharpened them at all or I've just really rubbed the rust off. I have gone very gently. In fact, I used a very thin blade in the angle grinder. Might have been because that's the only one I could find, but I thought anyway, I only want to do it lightly. It's not like I want to be removing a lot of metal. All I want to do is to be touching them up. So you did see me at the end there go around the tips to try and put a bit of a point on them. And then before that I've gone round each of these alternate ones for one edge and then the bevels on the other side, so then I went the other way to try and do the others. Anyway, let's see whether it's made any difference. Let's have a look. A little bit of black on that one on one edge, but other than that, that definitely looks a lot better. That's the first two I did. Well, the first one rather, but that's the first two faces. They're quite burnt looking. That one, there's just a little bit on one side. Whether I pushed it in a little bit too fast, I don't know. I'm going to do a few more and see, but anyway, it looks like my tootling up with the angle grinder might have made some improvement, so I'll do a few more and see how we get on. So I've just done a few, and you can see there's just always, when I first push it in, you can get a little bit of black. It's not on all of them, but anyway, I'm going to count that as an improvement. It definitely seems a lot easier to cut it. There's no smoke coming off, and you can tell, you know, the kind of like force that you're having to push them through is a lot easier. So in case you're wondering why I'm cutting these logs in half, it's because this is some in there. It was in the shed which blew down, and there were some logs in there which were too long. These logs I'd cut up for our previous property, which had a larger log burner. We've got a very small log burner in the property here, and some of them are a little bit tight to get on, so they basically need cutting in half. And it's a lot easier to do this on a bench, cut them in half, than to try and hold a small log and cut it with a chainsaw. Yeah, I'm very pleased with it. I really like it. What I like about it is the fact that this arm goes down here, holds the log, and you push it forward, your hands are nowhere near the blade. On a normal saw bench, which I've had before, and I've got a little table saw, you actually have to, blades like that, you're actually holding it with your hand either side of the wood. With this, it's well away, and I find even without the weight on it, which is pulling it back, you tend, because you're holding this, you automatically pull it back. You just get into the routine of doing it. So it's only took me about 10 minutes to saw up that pile of wood. Yeah, I think if I spent a bit more time sharpening it, or a bit more effort, it would cut even better. So yeah, it's worked out really well. Pleased with that. Don't know what make it is. Anybody knows? Let me know. Anyway, thanks very much for watching. I'll catch you again soon.